Okay, super. Let's come to stand. And we're going to start slightly differently this evening. So I want you to take a wide stance. So stand with your feet hip distance apart. A bit wider, sorry, than feet hip distance apart. And just turn those toes to the corners of the room. And then from here, we're just going to work on that pelvic tilt that we do so well. So working to tuck the tailbone underneath and then let it roll away. You probably notice it feels a little bit harder to tuck that tailbone underneath, but you get a lovely sense of opening through the front of your pelvis as you do that. Keep on working on that lovely pelvic tilt. Just drop those shoulders down and away and grow tall through your spine as you do. Marvellous. And one more. And then we're just going to tuck that tailbone underneath. So we're really lengthening through the spine, sending that tailbone down towards the floor. And let's just open up through the shoulders now. Nice rolls. Feel those shoulder blades just articulate up and down your rib cage. Tuck them down, lift them up, and then change direction with those rolls. Rolling forwards. Good stuff. Okay, set those shoulders. We know where they go down into our back pockets. Okay, and then we're going to bring those arms up to shoulder height. Draw the tummy to the spine as we open through the arms. Gentle squeeze of those shoulder blades. Arms come back forwards and we lower down. So as those arms lift up, we're going to keep that rib cage gently drawn down towards the waist using those tummy muscles. Gently tuck those shoulder blades a little bit more as we open the arms. Let's just get these shoulders warm and open through the front. Good. Okay, one more of this lovely pattern. And on this next one, we're going to hold those hands out to the side at shoulder height. So just drop those shoulders down and away from those ears. And then we're going to come to a twist. I haven't got enough space. So take that twist, try and keep your belly button pointing forwards as we go. So all the movement comes from your rib cage. Let your neck follow that movement and just make sure those shoulders don't begin to creep up as you come into those end range positions as we get a little bit tight. Don't really mind how you breathe, but just make sure you are breathing. Sometimes a breath out just helps us just get the end of that movement. And if your arms do get tired at all, just rest them down and then join back in. Hopefully you're feeling that movement's a bit more free now. So let's just do one more on each side. Good. And then come back to the centre. Bring those arms forwards and down. Give everything a shake. Okay, nice big circles with the arms now. So they're going to come forwards, up this time round and down. Really focusing on that control through the shoulder blades and that control through the rib cage. So the trunk is nice and still, but the arms are moving freely. Okay, let's add those legs. So as the arm goes up, we're going to come down into a little squat and the arms come round and down, we push back up. Push through those heels, keep that tailbone tucked underneath. And get these legs warm. Knees to the corners of the room as well. So we're really squeezing those bottoms to open up through the front of the hips. They should be nice and warm from those pelvic tilts at the start. And how low can you go? So if you're feeling it, let's go a little bit deeper. We're going to warm these legs up. Okay, a few more. Okay, let's hold this one. Come down, but this time reach the arms out to the side, palms down towards the floor. Drop the shoulders down into the back pockets and we're going to pulse. Draw the tummy towards the spine, squeeze your bottom, open those knees. Pulsing. If we can keep going, brilliant. If not, come back to stand, reset and repeat. We're here for 100, so keep that pulse going. Woo, we'll take off in a second. 10. 9, 8, 7, good work guys, looking good. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly down with those arms and slowly up with those legs. And just give everything a little shake. Okay, keeping the feet where they are. I'm just going to step a bit further back. We're going to open up through the inside of the thigh now. So you're going to tap your hand to the opposite knee on the inside of that knee as you twist down to look. Come back to the centre and then tap over to the opposite leg. Now we're starting at the knee, but with the aim to go a little bit deeper as things feel happy to open up. So maybe down towards the calf, maybe down towards the ankle, or maybe down towards the foot. Just keep switching from side to side as everything just enjoys that movement. You're giving your back permission to open up. And as soon as your back feels happy to do that, we can push that movement a bit further. Okay, let's hold this next one. Reach down and hold. Just let the chin gently drop down towards the chest. You should feel it stretched down the back of that leg that you're reaching to. Keep holding. Comfortable stretches only. Back to the centre and over to the opposite side for a hold. Keep holding. And back to the centre and come back up and walk your feet together. Super, back to that feet hip distance apart. We're going to work into our roll downs now. So we've kind of worked through the backs of the legs, so let's get the spine mobile as well. So rolling down through all of the bones of your spine. Remember, all of those little bones, they need to go on their own, so really take your time just to roll down, peeling away from the wall if you would. A little bit more weight into the front of your feet, and then just hang at the bottom for a breath in and out, and then stack back up to stand. Imagine you're a ragdoll and you're just hanging heavy at that bottom position. Okay, and then repeat. I'm going to come and have a look at you, see how you're doing. Looking good. That's it, just go as far as you can comfortably. Good work, guys. Okay, we're going to make it a little bit more dynamic now. So I'm going to turn side on to show you. We're going to come either into a box position or a plank position. So your box position, as you roll down, you bring your knees soft so you can bring your hands towards the mat. Walk your hands forwards. Keep the knees lifted, but hands over hands under shoulders, knees under hips, and then we walk back and stack up to stand. Okay, there's your box position or your full plank position. We walk down, but this time we lengthen the arms a little bit further away so that we can straighten those knees and stack those shoulders over those hands, but we've got a nice long spine. Okay, either one, or you can alternate, up to you. I'm going to go for those planks because I feel like I want to get my shoulders working a little bit more. Now remember those long planks, tailbones tucked underneath, and really draw that tummy towards the spine. If you want to work a little bit harder, just hold it a little bit longer. Okay, keep it going, guys. Good. Kind of functional movement, practicing getting up and down, really gets that full body going. Nice, Julie, good. Very good, Karina. Well done, Chris. Super duper. Okay, I want you to hold your next one. So either hold that full plank or hold that little box lift. Okay, we're going to hold it all together. Hopefully you're feeling that your heart rate's picked up a little bit. Now, think about a T-light underneath your breastbone. Just gently sort of round your chest away from that T-light. Lovely, Emma, saw that. Great. Okay, we're holding still. We're holding. Imagine there's a mirror in front of you and you're just looking into that mirror, but you're lifting through your ponytail. Sorry, gents, ponytails as well for you. Keep holding. Keep holding. Okay, you can stay in that plank. You've got a tray of drinks resting on your lower back and you're just tapping your foot out to the sides of your mat. Okay, if you're not in that full plank position, bring your knees down towards the mat and then lengthen the leg to the side and back in. Okay, so two options, but what's the aim? We're aiming to avoid spilling that tray of drinks on our lower backs. And we also want to keep the sides of the body nice and long. So keep that length between your waist and your rib cage. Don't let your waist shorten to bring your legs out to the side. So we should feel this in the shoulders. We should feel tummy working hard, especially if you're in that full plank, but also the outside of the hips starting to warm up. Okay, let's do 2 more taps on each side. And 1 more tap. And then a little hold. You can lift those knees if you're in that box position, but we're going to hold 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. Knees down and push yourself back into your shell stretch or child's pose and just hang out for a minute. Gives you a chance just to let your breath come back. Remember, you can widen your knees slightly just to sit a little bit further into that. And then I want you to think about your thread the needle. So we're going to combine our shell stretch with thread the needle. So take one of your hands and pass it underneath the opposite arm and reach and look towards that hand. How lovely does that feel? Okay, come back to the center. And then over to the opposite side. Reach and look towards that hand. Because that feels so lovely. Let's do it on 1 more on each side. So thread through that needle. See if you can slide your hand a little bit further away from you this time. That's it. Good. Hi, Alex. Brilliant. And swap sides to your final side. Brilliant. And then just come back to the center and see if you can just push a little bit further into that shell stretch. Let your bottoms really push towards your heels if you can, and push away through the heels of your hands so the underside of the shoulders really get a nice sense of stretch. Okay, back to our box position. We're going to go for super slow chest press now. So keep the tailbone tucked underneath as you slowly begin to lower your chest down towards the mat. Now, the further forward your chest, the harder you're going to work those shoulders. If that feels a little bit too much, sit a little bit further back. Oh, sorry, somebody's calling me and that's kicked me off. Keep going, guys. Super slow. So remember, if you want to work a bit harder, then you can sit a little bit further into those chest presses. Or if you want to work a bit easier, then just sit a little bit further back. Super slow though. Think of a count of 8 to come down and 8 to come back up again. Beautiful. Okay. 1 more going down and 1 more coming up. Your arms should be shaking now. You're just kissing your mat, or maybe not, and coming back up again. Really nice. Okay, now come down towards your mat, come all the way down this time, and we're going to set up in our side lying position. So option 1, you can bend that bottom knee and it will give you a little bit more stability. If you want to work a touch harder, straighten both legs. And remember, we want to stack those hips on top of one another. So you're just trying to push that top hip down towards your heels. So you've got a little space for a marshmallow to rest. We're going to keep it super simple, but it doesn't mean we're not working hard. Outside of the top of that leg, we're going to go for our leg lifts. So we're floating that leg up to hip height and back down again. So same as we did with our side taps in our box or plank position, you want to keep that nice long waist. So long length between the waist and the pelvis, rather than letting that waist shorten as you lift your leg back up. So really think about that marshmallow resting underneath the small of your waist. Resting as you need to, and then join back in, and just make sure the outside of your foot leads that movement, rather than just letting your foot kind of hang off lazily at the end of your leg. It doesn't look quite so pretty, and it doesn't get those muscles working quite so hard. Now, if you're happy with the idea of toe pointed coming up and heel flex coming down, then please add that in. Good. We should feel those top hips getting nice and warm now. So let's do 3 more. because we're going to challenge them a little bit more in a moment. 2. And then we're going to hold this next one. So if you need to just have a little bit of a pause, tap that top hip and then join back in. So we're holding that top leg at hip height. Now if you need to, you can bend your bottom leg slightly. We're going to take this top arm and we're going to stretch it over to the top of the mat. Don't quite have enough space there. Reaching through, lengthening through that body. Push your foot away from your hand and then come back over with that hand. Keep the leg where it is. We're just drawing a lovely rainbow over us. How beautiful. Good. Arms up and over. Keep going, guys. I'm going to come and see how you're doing. Really nice. Just make sure that your shoulder isn't collapsing into your neck. So draw that shoulder down and away from your ear. That's it. Beautiful. Okay, 2 more rainbows. Legs are looking strong, guys. I like it. Half an inch higher with that foot if you can. Well done, Alex. Looks great. Lovely, Julia. Brilliant. And then rest down with your arm and rest down with your legs and just drape that top leg over the bottom. Give that hip a pat. Some of you said at the start you were feeling your bottoms. You've probably just woken them up again after last week. And let's take that into a nice full body stretch. So hands up over the top. Push your feet away from your body. Imagine you're a torpedo, long and lean. Good stuff. And then just relax and roll onto your backs, where we're just going to work a little bit on these tummies. Okay, so we're coming into our rest position. So that marshmallow now is resting in the small of the back. So make sure you've got enough space to fit it in, but don't press down on it. And we're going to work with our scissors. So that tray of drinks from earlier is now resting on our waist as we float one leg up into tabletop and repeat with the opposite side. So just in and out of that tabletop position. Now, most of you are comfortable with scissors. So if you want to work those abs a little bit harder, remember as one leg lifts, the other leg lowers. However, keep that control, keep that pressure on your marshmallow constant. So as those legs switch, you shouldn't feel that that pressure lifts up or increases at any point. Okay, keep it going. We're going to keep it super simple and really work these scissors, and then we're going to add it on to something else. Good, so I'm going to come and see you. Very nice. Good work, Jill. Just make sure you're coming back into that tabletop position. So knees over hips, stacked at 90 degrees. Beautiful. Nice, Lucy. Okay, one more on each side. And then if you need to, just hug your knees towards your chest. And then we're going to set up for our bridge. Just keeping it nice and simple for our bridges to begin with, because we're going to build on these. So remember, the bridge is all about mobilizing the spine, but also energizing those muscles down the back line of the body. So you can squash your marshmallow by pressing into the small of the back. That'll enable your tailbone to lift. Continue to peel away from your mat through the bones of the spine until the hips are lifted. Make sure all of your weight doesn't collapse into your shoulders. So just slide your knees over your feet and then smooth your spine back down along the length of your mat again. Keep it going. So nice and steady. Really enjoy that sense of peeling away from the mat. We opened up the back with our roll downs at the start. So we should feel nice and able to really work through every level of the spine. Okay, 2 more. Making sure that that pelvis rests level as we lift up into the bridge, because we're going to challenge that a little bit more shortly. Now you can come with me, but if you just want to work on your bridges because that feels like enough of a challenge today, please do so, because what we're going to add in next is a little bit more of a challenge. And we're going to combine the bridge and the scissors. So we're lifting up into our bridge, and then we're floating one leg up, stack the knee over the hip, and back down again. And repeat on the opposite side. Now, if you feel like that's too much, but you still want to challenge that idea of just working through one leg, then rather than lifting up into your scissors, you can just lift the heel off the mat and down, and repeat on the opposite side. So it's just pushing up onto tiptoes on one side and back down. Rest at any point when you need to. Always good to hug the knees towards the chest, opens up through the back, and then set back up and go again. So as we work into these scissors, we're really working to keep those bones in the pelvis nice and level and avoid too much dipping from side to side with those hips. So squeeze these bottoms. It's the glutes that does the work for you. Okay, float one leg up into tabletop. I don't mind which one. Hold it in tabletop and lower the bridge down. Keep it in tabletop and push back up into your bridge. Up and down. We're going to do 6 repetitions just on one leg. Remember, this is optional. You can continue to work with those heel lifts, or you can continue to work with your bridge. We're halfway there. This is really firing up that leg now that's lifting you up and off the floor. You should feel your bottoms. You'll thank me for it all week, I'm sure. Last one. Swap legs and repeat with the opposite side. So tabletop, hold, lift and lower. Really drive through that hip. Push your heel into the mat. Your heel and your bottom are connected through that long line of tissue that runs through the whole of the back of your body. Halfway there. 2 more. And after this next one, back down onto the mat with both feet and hug your knees towards your chest. A gentle rock from side to side, just so you can really open up all of those muscles that have just worked quite hard. And let's take this into a hip twist, but this time keeping the knees hugged towards the chest. Reach out either side of your mat and just allow your knees to rock over to one side. If you can, let the knees drop down to the floor and just glance over your opposite shoulder. Keep those knees tucked up towards you because it really feels good for that back. Okay, back to the centre with those knees and over to the opposite side. One stuck on the wall and glance over the opposite shoulder. Okay, come back to the centre and set yourself up for side lying on the opposite hip where we're going to be finishing. So last little push this evening. Sweep yourself round to the opposite side of the mat. So remember, we can have that bottom knee bent or we can have that bottom leg straight, depending on how hard you want to work that stability. Little marshmallows now resting in the waist on that underside. Gentle pressure with your fingertips on the mat in front of you, and when you're ready we're going to come into that lift and lower, so float that leg up to hip height and back down again. Straight in with the toes up and heel down if you're happy, or just really focusing on that control and stability through that leg. Now it's up to you if you want to just work until you can't work, or you can do about 6 repetitions, rest, reset and repeat. If you ever find yourself sort of losing your form, it's always good just to pause, reset, make sure you're not squashing your marshmallow. No one wants to squash marshmallow. Let's see how you're doing. We're looking great, guys. Okay, let's go for 4 more. Now remember always that bent knees are a little bit easier to lift than long legs. So if you do feel that the leg gets too heavy at any point, just soften the knee slightly. Beautiful. Okay, I make that about 4. So let's hold this next one. If you need to, just bend that bottom knee slightly. And then we're going to add that lovely rainbow reach as we stretch up and over and back down again. Remembering to try and keep a lovely space between the shoulder and the ear. So we're using those muscles that tuck our shoulder blade down towards our back pockets as we take the hands up and over. And we opened up our shoulders beautifully in our warm-up, so we should have a good amount of mobility to work with this. Okay, 4 more. Keep that leg lifted if you can. 3, 2, and 1. Great stuff, guys. Okay, lower that top leg down, drape the top leg over the bottom, give that hip a good pat, and then let's take it into that full body side stretch. So stretching the fingertips away from the feet. Reach, imagine someone's pulling you in a tug of war, you're the rope, Pulling you from your hands, pulling you from your feet, separating every joint in your body. Good stuff. And relax there, guys. Let's come onto the back and do a little bit more work just to stretch these bottoms, because we've worked them hard 2 weeks in a row now. So placing one foot on the opposite knee and allow that knee to drop away. You can just hang out here, or you can bring the opposite leg towards you and hug that knee, feeling a nice comfortable stretch in the outside of that open hip. And breathe. Well done this evening. Okay, touch down and unfold, and do all of that on the opposite side. So remember, set yourself up, make sure that hip drops open. That might be enough for you, or you can bring that opposite knee in. Sometimes it's nice just to use that hand to sort of prise that leg away if it feels comfortable for you. Remember, we want comfortable stretches. Good stuff. And let's finish with our rolling like a ball. So hug your knees towards your chest and start to build up some momentum as you roll forwards and backwards on your spine. As you come up to sit, try not to let your feet touch down before you roll back. Lovely way of massaging all those muscles in your spine. You can sit with your knees a little bit further open if you need to. And then finally bring yourself up to sit. There's your party trick for this year. Well done. Okay, I'm going to stop recording.